Nobara Kugisaki. Best Jujutsu character, yay or nay? I know what you're about to say. Hold it before you jump in the comments. You're gonna be, oh, Gojo is so perfect. Why would Gojo? How could anyone compete with Gojo? Hold it. Just think about it for a second. Gojo is the obvious answer. Okay, he's so OP. He's the most powerful, good-looking, tall, easygoing, charming, and he's the most powerful. That's an easy answer, dog. You can't say Gojo is the best character because he's on a different level. He's just in a different tier. In the rankings, he can't be in the rankings. It just breaks the whole system. And that is why we are drawing her today. One of my favorite characters of all time. The whole show is so great. The show is amazing, and I feel like the best part of the show is just the character. And I think it's also the way the characters are presented. Like, the storytelling is really great. There's tons of humor while also a lot of plotline and a lot of action. Everything moves so quickly, and I feel like this is like the modern era of anime where things are, or like modern storytelling in general is just that things are quickly paced so that people actually pay attention, because you can't have a show that just runs on forever, you know, especially when you have shows like Game of Thrones and stuff where the story's so big. In shows like that, you can like really play it out, but with anime, you have shows like Hero Academia where things just move really, really quickly, and I feel like this show did that perfectly. This is quickly becoming my all-time favorite show. I think it's my all-time favorite show, especially because it combines good plot, good character, and comedy, and the animation's beautiful. Like, what more can you ask for? If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you check it out. Jujutsu Kaisen. They just wrapped up season 1. Go watch it if you haven't. But I assume if you clicked on this video, you probably have. So let's jump into the drawing right away. Let's go to the studio. So let's jump into some sketchbook drawing. Let's figure out the composition and get a little bit of practice in. The first thing that I want in this composition is the squeaky hammer, because I think that's adorable. That pink hammer she had. That's such a nice touch to the storyline that they didn't really expand on that. Like, what was that? Is that just something she carries around with her the whole time? I want the squeaky hammer in the image, and I want it to be like a pretty tall composition so it works as a phone wallpaper. I want to make sure it's like fairly full figure instead of like cutting in like I did on the last image. For the Endeavor piece, I kind of like cut in. I kind of want the full body, almost full body in the image. So that's what I'm aiming for, going for that style. I think I picked the first sketch that I do on this sketchbook. The first composition is what I end up going with, but maybe I should have played around a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with how that looked. I like the pose, it's kind of cute. And then we jump into the faces, getting practice in with the faces, trying to capture likeness. And this is still something that I struggle with. This is still challenging. I'm working on it. I promise I will get better. I'll probably revisit all of these characters so that my drawings aren't so terrible, but I have to still try to push forward, try to practice this stuff. The only way to learn this stuff is actually to jump in, so that's why I'm jumping into it, trying to capture likeness here. Did a bunch of practice, and then we jump in to Procreate and get digital with it. I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable working digitally and working in Procreate, and I think a big part of that is that I've started to figure out which type of brushes to use and how to use the software. I'm getting a lot more comfortable. So this went by pretty quickly, but I spent a lot of time on the face, trying to capture the likeness, trying to capture the character of it. I kept coming back and forth where I would do like sketches over the face over and over again because I couldn't really get it the way I wanted it, like perfectly, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out in the end. But I definitely struggled with it, and it gave me the notes that I needed. Like, I realized that, hey, I need to spend more time drawing faces to figure out some of the mistakes that I keep making repeatedly. And I also kind of struggled because I wanted the head to be on a tilt, like on an angle. So that's kind of where I struggle a little bit, but I am improving. I'm working on it. You know what I mean? I know that there's a long way to go, but I'm getting there. I'll get there eventually. And I also wanted to make sure I got the squeaky hammer, like I mentioned, and then I also wanted some of the nails. And then I put her in a hoodie because I like in the end where they're eating pizza. I don't know if you guys remember this if you watched the show. She's in this like yellow hoodie. They're like dressed kind of like more normal instead of their uniforms, and I love that scene. So that's why I wanted to put that hoodie on them. Because I love that when I see fan art of characters dressed differently from how they're dressed in this show. So at least you get kind of a different perspective. The image ended up being quite pink in the end when I added colors. And I don't know how I feel about that. I like it, but I feel like the colors could have been a little bit better, but I'm happy with a lot of the textures and how the image turned out overall. I went with thinner lines for this piece compared to the last piece. Last piece I did a lot of very thick lines, a lot of black and white, but I wanted I want to get like this vintage feel. I have a sense of where I want this to go, where I want to take this style. So that's what I'm trying to push for. So I'm trying to do these thinner lines, a little bit more simple, a lot of half tones, simple colors. I'm working on it. It's not there yet, but I am getting there. So this is the finished image. Boom, put it on the screen. Whoa, look at that. That's the finished image. Full wallpaper of this is obviously up on the Patreon, like always. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If you wanna support, and if you're interested in watching me improve, go on this journey with me. You know, have some fun, and you want to learn how to draw as well. You can join me over on the website. Join the mailing list. We'll stay in touch. And I have a bunch of free drawing tutorials that are made for beginner artists. Like if you've never drawn before, I have a bunch of those types of tutorials. I also have figure drawing tutorials and portrait drawing tutorials that I'm working on building out more of them. But there's a big collection that are completely free. Like there's a bunch of free worksheets and stuff. Check that out. It's all on the website. And if you want to support, I'm also on Patreon if you want to join. And feel free to subscribe and like. That's a lot of things. Like there's a lot of advertising at the end, I know. Thank you for clicking subscribe. Sick. Peace. Bye. Bye.